Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, the 12th of September. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. My name is Saurel Quettan, and I have the honor of bringing you in conversation with my very good friend, Stan Anderson, today. I'll introduce him later. And before we roll, I want to say this to you. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Welcome to the Daily Huddle again. My name is Saurel Quettan. Whether you are listening from the West Coast or the East Coast, whether you're in Africa or Haiti, I want to welcome you here. This conversation is made just for you, dedicated to have you connect to your deeper self and expand your relationship with money in a way that leaves you liberated. So today's question is how to invent a new relationship with money. Before we sink our teeth into this conversation, I have a few questions for some wonderful friends. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning.
Where are you, Tara?
I am right here and nowhere else, exactly where I need to be.
Right here. Stan, good morning.
Good morning.
What time is it, my friend?
Wow. It's actually now. The only time
there
is. Yeah.
It is now. We are here. And if you check, you have exactly the amount of money you have right now. And if you check, you have exactly the amount of money you don't have right now. So maybe in the final analysis, when it comes to inventing a new relationship with money, maybe it has nothing to do with the amount of money you have or not. So we'll look into that. Stan, you're here gracing us with not only your presence, but the generous opportunity of having a conversation with you anchored in a few questions exactly about that. So I want the world to get to know you. So I'm going to say a few things about you and also ask you a few questions to unpeel the onion, so to speak, right?
Okay.
So Horace Stanford, the man, Anderson, is the founder of Motivation Readers Mastermind Network, a Tuesday through Saturday live inspirational and self-empowerment book reading and discussion platform whose mission is to encourage, inspire, and empower people around the world to believe in and develop their unlimited potential, to courageously pursue their cherished dreams. Stan Anderson developed his love and passion for self-development and motivational reading from his two outstanding mentors, pioneer businessman and philanthropist S.B. Fuller, and successful business innovator and icon, Dr. Joel Dudley Sr., both whose lives are a testament to personal development and service to mankind. And Stan exemplifies that. You would never know it, but Stan is 67 years old.
68 now.
68 now?
Yeah, going on 69 in January.
Healthy and grateful, he has been called and has chosen to serve. He lives in Jamaica, New York, with his amazing wife of 45 years, Doris Figueroa Anderson, who is a marriage counselor and retired educator, Stan is a father, grandfather, and a published poet. Stan, I'm delighted that you accepted my invitation to join me in this conversation. And I want to start this conversation by asking you to share with us where you come from. You know, you may have the name you have, but there are 2 or 4 or maybe 6 people who really anchored you and gave you who you are. I'm thinking about your great grandparents, your grandparents, and your parents. So, who do you come from and where do you come from? Tell us about you.
Wow. Well, I had a great relationship with my grandmother, my mother's mother, because I got to know her and grow up with her. My great grandmother, I never got a chance to really, really meet her. She passed before, I was actually born, and my grandfather for that matter. So my grandmother was my really strong influence, and my mom. My mom's a single mom, and she tremendously influenced my mother. But she was a very eloquent speaker and very, very poetic just in her style of speaking, as well as in her knowledge of poetry. And she was always reciting something and writing something and doing those kind of things. So I kind of come out of that. I can definitely see my connection to that with my writing and that kind of thing. But as it relates to other matters, yeah.
I have a very good friend of mine who says, the people who are in our lives that we love, they may be here with us or they may be gone. Tell me, are your grandparents still alive?
No, neither of them. Neither 4 of them. Great grandparents, great grandmother. Of course, that was a long time ago. And my grandmother and grandfather both are passed.
You know what he
they've been
said?
passed for quite a while.
He said, they may be gone, but every time we say their names, they're right here with us.
Wow, that's
so would you please say the names of your grandparents?
Well,
and your great grandparents.
Yeah, my great grandmother was Cecilia Emerson Barr. My great grandfather was Clinton Barr. Never got to know either one of them. And my grandmother was Irene Barr Anderson, and my grandfather was Albert Anderson. I did get to meet him and speak with him on a couple occasions before he passed when I was young, but never had a chance to really develop a relationship with him. But with my grandmother, yes.
Irene, huh?
Yeah, Irene.
Irene the poetess.
Yeah. She passed it on to my mother and ultimately to me. Not ultimately, but on.
Yeah. I imagine that her words, the conversations you had with her, just had a tremendous impact on you. And in connecting your ancestors to the conversations we're having this morning, which is how to invent a new relationship with money. Now, I'm asserting this, it's not the truth. And as much as you love your grandmother, Irene, I bet you loved her words even more.
Yeah. Well, because it seems like I have those, still have those.
Now,
and so they make a great impression. Yeah.
When it comes to her words, what do you remember grandmother Irene saying about money? And I want to go there not to look for anything that is quote unquote negative or quote unquote positive. The point we're trying to make, Stan, is this: that as much as you love your grandmother's words, there was this open heart, this open mind that you had that said, man, grandma, pour into me. And every time, I bet you always wanted more. So there's that which your grandmother passed on about money that's still alive and well right here with you. So what did you learn from grandmama about?
One thing I remember her saying all the time: money don't grow on trees. That's a metaphor. That was a powerful metaphor, and it had to, it affects people in a different way. But it said to me a couple of things. I don't know if I don't think I really understood it when I first heard her saying it as a child. As I got a little bit older, probably still in my, before adolescence, I came to understand that it meant, well, when you're asking me for money all the time, like I just always have it, It doesn't come that easy. I just don't reach up on a tree and pull it down. And also about other resources that, those things cost money, and don't be so wasteful, and don't think that it just comes that easy. I think that type of thinking also made me think that acquiring money and acquiring wealth is always going to be something that is hard.
So you're pointing to something really powerful, Stan. And remember, I said there's nothing negative or positive about this. We're looking together. I'm so enthralled by this conversation, and you're going to have to recite a little bit of your grandmother's poetry for us.
My mother is the best at it. I'm telling you, because my mother is the one who really passed it on even more so. She made grandmama even more alive after grandmama passed it. She remembers and things I don't remember. But go right ahead.
So grandma used to say money doesn't grow on trees.
It don't grow on trees. No.
Right? And however eloquent she was, those words stuck with you.
Oh yeah, still remember them.
And not only do you remember them, but maybe how old were you when you first heard grandma say that?
I probably, I probably heard my grandmother say that probably about the time that I probably would ask for some money to get some candy or something. So I'm assuming it probably would be around maybe 5 years old, when I had enough intellect too that she knew that she could have conversations with me. And we could probably maybe 5, 6, 7 years old, somewhere.
Yeah, 5, 6, 7 years old, right? And grandma says money doesn't grow on trees. And probably every other adult around you was saying that, right? And it became a thing. Sure. And maybe that thing gave you your relationship to money, making money, using money. And we're just honing in on that one saying. There could be many, many more that create the construct of what we can call the conversation you and I inherited about money. So given that you inherited money doesn't grow on trees, how do you see that shaped how you led your life when it came to money, resources, work, and all that good stuff? What do you see?
One of the ways that is what I just mentioned, is that it gave me an early framework of belief, and probably belief, that it was not easy to get, and it was not easy to make, that it was, you got to put in some real effort. This thing is hard, and also that that maybe it's not that plenty, it's not that it doesn't flow that consistently or whatever, like the flow may not be so strong of it. And that I know governed had a lot to do with my relationship with thinking how I had to earn money. It was always going to be that I had to really work hard to make money, right? And I think sometimes in my life I challenged that, and I said, man, I'm gonna find an easy way to make money. That's a different story for a different time and a different daily huddle. But that it would be hard. That it wasn't something that just, like I've learned in my latter years.
Yeah.
That you can use it in a way that it makes money for itself. It doesn't have to be so difficult.
Yeah. So make it real for us and everyone who's listening. Tara came on this morning and Tara said, man, I heard Stan was going to be featured and I want to get to know Stan a little more. So if you're giving us a peek into the private life of Stan Anderson, who now knows that it's hard to make money, it's scarce, it's hard to come by, I'm going to have to work hard for it and all that good stuff. So tell us a little bit about the life you led. Don't tell us about it, but put us in your shoes. What kind of life did that view of the world give you?
Well, it was a strange thing, because it wasn't that money was the only thing that governed my relation. That those words weren't the only thing that governed my relationship to other money. Religious tenets also, and the interpretation of religious tenets also governed my relationship to other money. So such as, you know, that life is not all about money, that is not the most important thing. You know, in fact, that it should not be considered a very highly important thing, that relationships with people, relationship with God, and how you treat your fellow man, and all those things were far, far more important in the long run, and even in the life that we're going to live after the life we have now, which is much, much longer, because that's the one they call eternity, right? That money doesn't even matter. So as you thinking, you know, as you're thinking this time, well, I gotta two different ways to look at life and about money. So I actually relegated money to not being the most important thing in my life, although also always knowing that I needed to make some, and quite often it did appear to others that maybe money was what it was all about. But to me, I started learning after a period of time that it wasn't just about money, although I had to engage myself in the process of earning one, and earning it from a paradigm that it wasn't going to be easy to make, that I had to work hard to make it, based on the early conversations coming from grandma and other, you know, in my earlier years, that I had to work hard for it, but I had to also have this thing that I'm working hard for because I needed to meet my obligations and to take care of the ones I love, or to try to do more for them. But that in overarching all of that was the greater thing of contribution that existed on a level not really of money or about money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I totally get that, right? So
yeah.
beyond grandma, there was
Mhm.
also the church and the tenets of your
Yeah,
religion that
yeah,
govern how you related to money. And
yeah,
again, I'm repeating it
yeah.
because it's worth repeating that whatever it is that you inherited, and I'm speaking to you who's listening, whatever it is you inherited, it's not bad or good.
Mm-hmm.
It is that it gives you your relationship,
It does.
money.
That's right.
And to invent a new relationship with money, I assert that one must first discover the current relationship without making it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The current relationship is not bad, but it gives you the life you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, Stan, help us take a look.
Mm-hmm.
What type of work did you do that you see now actually corresponds with it has to be hard? Give
Well, you
us
know,
a little bit of the resume.
I was involved. The first thing I did was, I knew I had to work. And at a very, very young age, I got a job. My first job was working in a barbershop, and I learned how to, not well, but because I wasn't good when I started out with it, and never really got great at cleaning. I could sweep the floors and clean up the hair and everything in the barbershop and everything, and learning how to shine shoes. Right. So but it gave me, I learned how to go and make some of my own money early, but I had to work. It was about labor. You know, both of those things were about labor. Then as I got older, I had various jobs in my teams and whatnot. Then when I got to the point where I made a decision directly as the type of work I was going to go into, I went into sales. And I went into door-to-door sales, some of the toughest kind of sales in the world. I guess I felt, if you think about me thinking money is going to be tough to make, it don't get tougher than door-to-door sales, knocking on people's doors. It really doesn't. And I did that actually. I actually was a door-to-door salesperson. Never was great at it, but I had some ability and some skills and personality that made me not be a great money earner, but I was able to do and make some money selling door to door. And I did that for 5 years full time at one point in my life. And then I transitioned from that into another form of sales where I was working directly with business to business sales. But it was always where I had to be the one pretty much going and earning that dollar. And it was never an easy thing. It might have been enjoyable and had some very rewarding aspects, but it was never easy.
Yeah.
You follow me? It was never easy.
I follow you.
Yeah. Never easy.
And you know what? I'd say this. If anyone ever said to you, Stan, do you regret any of it?
None.
What would, that's exactly right. You would say none, right?
None.
So again, what you inherited gave you the life you lived,
Exactly.
and you loved it.
Yeah.
And now that you're seeing it and the impact of what you inherited on the relationship you've had with money, there's an opportunity to answer the question that we pose on the Daily Huddle a lot. And that question is, how are you? And what's the answer, Stan?
Well, the answer is, man, I am good. I don't have any more than the normal needs anyone has to take care of themselves and to provide food, clothing, and shelter. Other than that, I don't have all the money I want, but I definitely have all my needs met, and I'm able to do some things for the ones that I love. I use some of the money that I do have to do some things that help other people that money can do to help. I'm able to do that where, thank God, my wife and I are now at a point, we're able to decide we want to take a trip somewhere, and within reason, we can take the trip we want to take. We might look for good fares. We might be, we don't just say, oh, whatever it is, and we can just pay for it. No, we look for a good fare. It's not like that. But we can do what we pretty much put our mind on what we need to do. And I recognize that money is a renewable source, and that also I learned that, finally started to take into concept that it doesn't have to be hard. Hold them. Your money can, if it's used right, earn you more money. It doesn't have to be so hard. Yeah. I
So,
don't know if that answered the question.
well, you did. So before we open it up, I know maybe Tara, Andrea may have a couple of questions to peel the onion and get to know Stan a little more. I want to ask you this. If you had all the money in the world,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do with it? And why aren't you doing that now?
Well, to be honest with you, Saurel, if I had all the money in the world, I would multiply the things that I'm already doing.
Hmm.
I would give more to programs, to individuals that I believe need my support and that I feel like they are worthy things to invest in. I can't invest in everything I want to invest in, because I don't have in my possession at one particular time an unlimited amount of money. Not at one particular time, over a period of time, yeah, it's always coming, so it's always flowing, so it is an endless flow, right? But I would do more of what I'm doing now. I would contribute more to sources that really, really reach out to people and help people on all different levels where money can help. I do some of those things now. I would do more of them.
More of them.
Yeah. And some of the things that I tell myself that maybe I can't do right now, because I say, okay, I need this amount of money to do that right now. I know it's not really, really true. Some of those things I know I could do right now, but I make a decision that I may do something else because I feel like, well, I still want to generate more so that after I do that, I'll still have more.
I got it. I got it. Well, let's open it up for others to ask you questions and maybe make comments that will reveal even more about Stan the man, our great
All
friend.
right. Okay.
So who's got a question? Or go ahead, Tara.
Good morning. It is wonderful to hear your spirit, especially around money, which was unexpected. And I'll tell you what I'm taking away from this is that you seem to have a real peace with your relationship with money. Like you're not frantic, you're not frivolous. And you always hear people say, oh, you can't take it with you. So I wonder what you contribute that peace around money to, if I'm correct in that.
You are, and I got to be honest. It doesn't all come from me. It comes from some of it comes from the point that there are some systems that are in place now that during my working career I put in. So right now I have a flow of money coming in. It's not all the money I've ever wanted to come in, but that I have a relative level of security financially. That so in a way I look at that in a way as almost being artificial. But in a way, it's not artificial because there was some preparation that made that and some groundwork that was laid in order to make that happen. So it's easier to have some some feeling of serenity and not be stressed overly here or there about money. When you do know that your needs are being met, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes.
You know, when you've got certain things that you know, I know I can take care of my basic things without that. I've got enough to handle those things, and not a whole lot other than some major super catastrophe would probably, in my life would probably unbalance that. So I feel relatively comfortable.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I love thinking about you selling door to door. I gotta know, what was the product?
It was beauty. It was a host of products, but primarily beauty care products. Products for your hair, for your skin, your bath. It's almost like an Avon type of product, right? So it had pretty much everything in the hair care family. We even had products, and I worked with a company called Fuller Products, and Fuller Products was built by an African-American man named S.B. Fuller, who started that company back in the 30s and became a multi-millionaire in Chicago, selling door to door.
I remember that. Was it not hairbrushes?
That's right. Well, because those two companies actually were existing at the same time, and the hairbrush company was Fuller Brush Company. They got they were big on known because of the movie or something out about they had the Fuller Brush Man in it. But this was Fuller Products. And quite often I was called the Fuller Brush Man. Till this day, they still call some of the Fuller Product salespeople, which is a different company, Fuller Brush people, but they were two separate companies, both very successful. And
wow.
one was owned by S.B. Fuller, an African-American man, who became extremely wealthy. And at one time owned 9 very successful businesses as a result of starting this company. And he sold for a company that sold soap door to door. He bought the company eventually and started manufacturing and taking over the process of manufacturing other products, selling them through salespeople door to door.
Wow. I'm sure that molded you in a lot of ways. And my last and final quick question, then I'll be quiet, is I want you to come on Wednesdays on the Daily Huddle, because I'm a storyteller and I want stories from the door-to-door salesman. Stan
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, will do. I promise I can do that.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that is awesome. Thank you.
Door to door definitely makes you have a different kind of relationship with people.
Yeah. Stan, you've got this permanent smile painted on Andrea's face. She's, I'm sure Andrea's going in her head, yes, Stan did it. Stan did it. So we've got a couple of minutes, Stan, left. And I want to tell the world that it was only yesterday that I sent a message to Stan and said, Stan, I'd love to have a conversation with you on the Daily Huddle. And Stan responded, Stan goes, gosh, I'm not a money expert. I'm not this, I'm not that. And this is what I said to Stan, and I want to say it to the world. Because really, in my heart of hearts, reinventing one's relationship to money is really anchored in that. And Stan, I'm really touched and moved by your generosity. And I want to honor you by actually sharing what I said to you and sharing what you said to me. So, I told Stan, I said, Stan, this conversation is not a matter of expertise or knowledge. It's a function of experience. And having lived a tad longer than most, the chronology of your relationship with money is most valuable. And as we did find that out this morning, for most, our relationship with money is defined by having it or not having it. On either end of the spectrum, there is disempowerment and a less than fulfilled life. And how, Stan, you have navigated those waters, and what is your current relationship with money? In answering that question, you've blessed us tremendously this morning. And I want to honor you for
Thank you for asking me. Thank you for encouraging me to exactly what you said, to say, okay, I can do that. That's a master salesman right there.
So what do you want to leave the world with today in one sentence?
Do you want it to be related to this conversation about money, or just whatever?
Well, either that or a bit of your wisdom, wherever you want it to come from.
Wow. I think that this is something that stands out. It wasn't very, very long ago that I heard it. I think in terms of relationship with money and everything, some of us want to really go after money because everybody says that's what we should go after, and that you need it and everything. I mean, if that is not your primary focus, then you don't have to make it your primary focus. You should find a place in your heart to know where and recognize what your primary focus might be, whatever that is, right? And I would say these words. These are what I heard not too long ago. To do this. Someone said, I don't know who it was, said, I decided a long time ago that I would be myself. Because when I looked around, everybody else was already taken. So we need to be motivated from a place of what is it that we need to find out, what is it that we truly want. And if it's about money, go and get it. And I know now it doesn't have to be hard.
Awesome.
Right. If it's not about that, you're going to need some. Get what you need and what you can get to help and still help some others. That may be a lot. It may not be a lot. It could be relative. But be true to yourself. Be you.
Be true to yourself.
Yeah.
Stan, thank you for being you. You inspire us, and you inspire us to live, and embody the tenets of the Daily Huddle.
Wow, thank you.
Which are to love, to stress less, to eat mostly plant-based, to give, to sleep, to shake our tail feathers, and most importantly, to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Wow. This is the Daily Huddle, folks. Tomorrow morning, Vince Roundtree and Roland Vanetta will be on Wednesday. We have our very own Tara Heaton and Catherine Sable. On Thursday, Dr. Monica Ogando will be greeting you from Egypt. And our very own, my dear friend and brother, Giovanni Gonzalez, will be with us on Friday. He's on a flight right now. Wish him all the best.
Wow. Okay.
I'll see you every morning right here on the Daily Huddle. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey,
everybody. Thank you, Stan.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you.
Absolutely. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you guys.